Whittaker took the round 1 with his striking. DeRitter was able to get the fight to the ground in round 2 and took round 2. Whittaker dropped RDR in round 3 and looked like he was coming close to maybe finishing him, but RDR survived and he eventually got a takedown and had a lot of control time towards the end of the round. Round 4 was relatively close compared to the others, and round 5 was pretty close as well. It ends up being a split decision victory for RDR. Petr Yan wins the unanimous decision over Marcus McGee, 29-28 on all the scorecards. McGee took the first round on all the scorecards. It was close, but the second and third rounds were not close. Petr Yan took over. He showed why he's ranked number 3 and McGee is ranked number 12 and why he's a former champion, and he picks up a unanimous decision victory. Sharbullet Magomedov wins the unanimous decision over Marc-Andre Barriault, 30-27 on all the cards, but the second round was a pretty wild one. Asu Almabayev wins the unanimous decision over Ochoa, 30-27 on 2 of the scorecards and 29-28 on the other. Bogdan Gushkav dropped Nikita Krillov and then finished the fight on the ground with just 43 seconds left in the first round.
I want to be better, be in the best, and now top 10 is like my more one step for going to the top, and one day I hope I fight on the gold.
Bryce Mitchell wins the unanimous decision over Saider Magomedov, 29-28 on all the scorecards. He won round 2 and 2, racking up a lot of control time in both of those rounds, 3 minutes and 28 seconds of control time in round 2. So he used his ground game to pick up the victory. Good debut at 135 for Bryce Mitchell.
I've never turned down a fight. I always show up happy to fight. I never complain, and I always thank Jesus Christ. Remember, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, against spiritual wickedness, evil powers, and high places. Arm yourselves with the full armor of God, the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the belt of truth, walk in the sandals of peace. Most of all, the shield of faith that blocks all fiery darts of the devil, and the sword, which is the word and the spirit of God. Amen. Congratulations on a successful debut in a new weight class. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Phil Nasty.
Carlos Leal was a pretty big favorite over Muslim Salikov, and he got knocked out in about 41 seconds. Big right hand KOs Leal in 41 seconds.
Always, I believe in my punches and kicks that I can finish anyone. Like I feel that my striking better than anybody in my.
Randy Brown says steroids can never help your chin, talking about Carlos Leal, implying that he's on steroids, and many people have assumed that as well in the past. Tabitha Richi landed a big elbow on Amanda Ribas in round 2, and then she finished the fight on the ground. Second round TKO victory for Tabitha Richi.
I took a lot to learn from Ian's fight. I work a lot of my distance, being aggressive, you know, combining my strikes with the takedown. I tried to do the takedown in the early rounds. I was not successful, so I found my way in pin her into the cage, make the damage, and then go for my takedown there. But I got her before that, so I'm happy with it.
Billy Alakana wins a decision over Ibo Aslan. It was a surprisingly passive fight, very unlike how Ibo fights, and Alakana also never really fights that passively either.
Really no big moments for him. Me either, but I touched him a whole lot more than he touched me. So he knows who won that.
Damone Blackshear won round 1, but then Davy Grant won the next 2 to win a decision, 29-28 on all of the scorecards, the unanimous decision win.
I mean, look, I'm a tough fight for anyone in the division, you know, and like I'm always the underdog. I don't mind playing the underdog, you know. The UFC's like it is what it is, you know. But honest, it just shows like my resilience and stuff like that. Now I felt good in that.
Stephen Wynn dropped Muhammad Yahya 7 times in their fight, which is a new UFC record. He did it in under 2 rounds, but Yahya is so tough, but the fight was stopped at the end of round 2. He could not see out of his eye because there was a massive, massive swelling.
Yeah, you know, first off, a lot of respect to Muhammad. He came back every single time I knocked him down. He knocked me down. We was a back and forth battle, but, you know, I was never going to stop.
Stephen Wynn landed more knockdowns in that single fight than some fighters have landed in their entire career. Stephen Wynn is arguably the GOAT. Martin Budet wins a decision over Buchecha in Buchecha's UFC debut. Budet's takedown D and submission D was good enough to earn him the decision.
Emotions are strong. I'm very happy that I secured win against like a legend in combat sports like Buchecha is. I think we show the fans very good fight. It was like on the feet, on the ground also. So I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm a winner of this match, and I would like to continue.
With John Jones retired, Paddy Pimblett thinks that him versus Ilya is the biggest fight that the UFC could make. It may very well be. They should just do the fight. They already have heat. They did the face-off. It's going to be an entertaining lead-up, and it will for sure be an entertaining fight, regardless of how it plays out. It'll be very entertaining.
You gotta delete him from the rankings even. He's not even deserved to be in top 10. He beat last 3 guys. It was Chandler, he had 3 losses. It was Bobby Green, he had 3-4 losses. It was Tony Ferguson, he had 8 losses. That's crazy. And like, you wanna bring that guy to fight for the title?
Ali Abdelaziz says fight news coming soon for Aaron Pico. Pico was supposed to fight this weekend against Movsar Evloev. Evloev pulled out of that fight, but something that they will be fighting next month. I think it's going to be rescheduled for UFC 319. Actually, during the UFC Abu Dhabi broadcast, they announced that it's Lerone Murphy who Aaron Pico will be taking on at UFC 319. That's August 16th at the United Center. And it's actually going to be the co-main event. So Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. Lerone was looking for a higher ranked opponent than himself, but he gets unranked Pico in his UFC debut. Pico obviously would have liked to take on Movsar because he would be a really high-ranked guy to fight. But if he beats Lerone Murphy in his UFC debut, he will be in the top 10 in the featherweight division in his UFC debut. UFC 321 is set. That is October 25th in Abu Dhabi. Aspinall versus Gane headlines the show for the heavyweight title. 2 heavyweights in the co-main event, Volkov versus Almeida. So they could be backup fighters if someone happens to pull out of the main event. You also got Alaskarov versus Park, Azat Maxim versus Mitch Raposo, and Hamdi Abdel Wahab versus Chris Barnett. So not a stellar main card. I mean, Hamdi versus Chris Barnett opens the pay-per-view. That's not really that great. This is a good main event, but not the greatest pay-per-view card.
What's up, guys? Update number 5. Been home for 4 days now. It's awesome. Sleep in my own bed, eat my own food, hang out with my family. It's great. That being said, I still got so many physical challenges to deal with. I'm still down about 35 pounds from where I should be. I gotta walk with a walker. I can't walk. I can't walk. This 5-pound weight, this is actually hard for me to curl, right? And you know, right before I had to go to the hospital, like in this video right here, I was feeling strong. I was probably curling like 45 pounds, something like that, you know, and definitely wasn't using a walker. I was probably out doing hill sprints. And so, you know, we go back to the Stockdale paradox I was talking about. I am where I am right now, but I'm gonna be somewhere different in a month, right? I'm gonna work my ass off, I'm gonna get better. And so why can't you too? What are you waiting for, right? There's barely anyone in the world that's in low physical condition as me right now. I can walk with you on a walker, I can do a 5-pound curl. It's pathetic, I totally understand that. But doesn't matter where I'm starting, I'm gonna finish somewhere different. And so some of you guys who aren't getting started, get your butt moving, get started. Hey, I got a long way to go, maybe you do too. Let's make it happen.